Hi, I just got back from a journey of discovery in Japan. It's absolutely beautiful here. I'm trying not to think about work, being on holidays and everything. Here are some more cool tools. I just spent $1,300 on Japanese tools.
Stay behind the line.
We've been wanting to go to Japan for so many years. I just love the people, the history, the workmanship, and just the beautiful landscape. I know that Japan has some of the finest joinery work in the world. So while I was there, I wanted to find out where I can get the best tools for my work and the whole background of Japanese tool making. My first stop was a famous tool shop in Tokyo called Inoue Hamono. I'm just on the way to my favorite tool shop in Japan. It's just up here. I just got that tip from a wonderful Australian fine furniture maker who just moved to Kyoto. They really had some amazing tools. But this was just the start of my visit to Japan, and I wanted to do a lot more research so I could find the best quality and the best value. So the first tools I ended up buying were in Matsumoto at a little market stand, and they had some antique tools. I bought 4 tools there. Here they are. They're still wrapped up. Now these still need a lot of work, but they're just absolutely gorgeous. So there's a gouge with a big corner chipped out of it. Take a look at that. So it's going to need a little bit of work. It looks quite old. Then there's these. They just look magical. I didn't actually realize I'd bought these, so that's quite interesting how that's been done. Like how they hollowed that out. And on these ones, they, kind of come down from the top and want a really straight line. So they're really beautiful. And then I just found this tiny chisel, and it just looked so pretty. I just had to buy it. I'm going to do some work on making these tools look new again. In Kanazawa, we went to the castle, which was fully destroyed in the 1800s, but they decided to rebuild using traditional methods. So you really gotta look into how these old castles were constructed. This is the joints pulled apart. That's what it looks like together. Then we travelled to Takayama, which is a beautiful old town, and near there's a town called Furukawa, which has an amazing carpentry museum. Okay, so on my search for different Japanese tools and things, I am on my way to a carpentry museum. Beautiful. Just take a look. You can even see some of the intricate carving works in some of the buildings. It's just amazing. That's just so beautiful up here. Okay, so here's some of the tools that they use to build the houses, but some of these tools will cross over into violin making as well. Probably not these, except for felling wood. These are giant saws. They're actually, imagine, look at that. For joinery, that would just be incredible. And the Japanese are just famous for the joinery. The lady just showed me how you lock up a, oh my God, I'm seeing some cool stuff. Okay, settle down. How they make these joints that are gravity locked, so that if you lift up one beam and you quickly undo it, they can demolish a house really quickly. And they do that if there's a fire, so the fire doesn't spread. How crazy is that? And then for more lasting buildings, they made these knots that they're called carpenter's knots, but they make these joints that once they're put together, you can pretty much not get them apart. Now, yeah, that's the thing I noticed before. This is the really cool stuff. These are the tools that'll also come in handy for violin making. They won't let me take it, so I'm going to have to buy my own somewhere. And these are some of the joinery planes that they have. Again, incredible. There are these competitions using these planes where people try and slice off the thinnest possible slice of wood. And whoever can slice the thinnest continuous slice of wood wins. Here are some more cool tools. With this kind of joinery, of course, they need extremely accurate measuring and scribing tools. And you can see the little blade underneath, so they can actually really cut with it. These look just a little bit similar to Violinmaker's knives. With these tools you could make a groove, and then it's got like these guides that you can just see how far away you want to make the groove. And then of course what's really important is that you have a straight line, and then check these little tools they have to make a straight line. I think they use a string. That's so cool. I think they're silk. I'm pretty sure that's silk twine. Here's some of the fine joinery saws that they would have used for joinery. These are just the most incredible joinery techniques. Check out this one. Whoa. Here's a whole bunch of different joints, even just straight joints. Now by that time, I'd already learned a lot about the Japanese history, the importance of the samurai sword, which created the highest level of sword making. Some of those metalworking skills were brought in by the Portuguese in the 1500s, and the Japanese went on to really perfect those skills. But I'm not really interested in hurting people. I was a lot more interested in the kind of tools they use to create things, to make beautiful wooden artifacts, the carpentry, the carving, and the furniture. After we went to Takayama, we went to Kyoto, and I caught up with my woodworking friend who makes really fine furniture and actually teaches people to do that. And he just moved to Kyoto. He gave me the details of an amazing little woodworking tool shops where I bought 3 gouges. So this gouge here is going to be, because it's got like a spoon shape, it'll be very good for hollowing out instruments. Here's just a really nice and fine one. So it still needs a bit of sharpening. And then there is this one, well in focus there, which is a bit bigger. Yeah, so I bought these 3 gouges there. So next I went to the shop in Kyoto. So it was a hardware shop, but they had a bunch of Japanese tools as well. So the tools that I found there were the 5 chisels, and she put them in a box for me. She had just sharpened them. She was like, don't touch, be careful. She was probably worried that I was going to cut myself and she was going to have to go back to the Band-Aid cabinet. So yeah, look at this beautiful like chisel. It's, I believe like it's a joinery chisel. And now this thing is well over 50 years old. You can see all the hand, like it's been really handcrafted. There's a mark, like a little stamp of the maker in there. I don't know if anyone knows about stamps of makers. I don't know who it is. I can probably research it. These ones have similar handles, similar make, but they don't seem to have that same stamp on them. But yes, there's 5 tools in a box here. Just amazing. Now, while we were in Kyoto, I took the Shinkansen to Kobe, where there's a carpentry tool museum. It was an amazing experience, and it gave me much better insights into some of the famous Japanese tool makers. It's just incredible the type of tools that they used to use. They were so advanced, it's really amazing. There's a whole lot of like sharpening tools as well. And then they've got the most amazing sharpening stones, from quite coarse to really fine. Now, these bigger tools for carpentry aren't all that important in violin making, but some of the finer tools really are. And the Japanese are just masters at tool making. Here are some of the different tool makers that use some of that amazing Japanese knowledge that they had for making samurai swords and turned it to tool making. I definitely prefer the use of steel for creating something rather than destroying, so these are absolutely beautiful. You can actually see some of the folded steel, like Damascus style steel. It's incredible. And some of these planes are just so sharp that they can do really thin shavings. That's how thin it can plane, and the shaving is this thin. It's incredible. So it's just an incredible place to really see how Japanese tool making worked. And then, of course, at the end, I went back to that shop in Tokyo. It's run by the father, son, really, really good shop. I just spent about $1,300 on Japanese tools. Getting good quality tools is so important, so I don't mind spending some money, because what's important is that these tools are really going to help me do the best possible work. And they're very good at marketing. They, all my tools came in this beautiful bag, and then they wrapped it up into this, just so that it wouldn't get damaged on the flight. And it's also a way I can keep my tools if I wanted to, but I do like having my tools hanging out in the open. Yeah, so there I got a set of beautiful gouges, from some of the wider ones to some of the finer ones, just absolutely stunning. Then I got this beautiful Japanese plane. I think it'll help me a lot with some of the finer work. And if you can manage to have the final part of your wood cut, like that it's actually cut, it gives you a much cleaner finish on your instruments and everything. I also got these sharpening stones. They're really fine and narrow. They were actually quite expensive. They were over $100, but absolutely worth it. So going to that shop was just an amazing experience. I also went to some art shops, and I found this little dish for mixing color. As you might know, Japanese penmanship and writing is also an art form, and it's, there's a lot that you can read about it, and they have the most amazing brushes. Now, if you have a look, this shop I found out, there was a whole wall of calligraphy brushes. It's incredible. So I'm considering using a Japanese calligraphy brush for retouching violins. I don't know if it's going to work yet, but I'm going to play around with it. Again, it's about getting those really fine lines. So I'm very excited about these two tools as well. All in all, it was a really inspirational journey that taught me so much about the beautiful Japanese traditions and the amazing workmanship. I found it really inspiring to take my own workmanship to the next level. I know I've been doing this for 39 years now, but I still feel there's so much more to learn and ways to do things so much better. It also made me think a lot about the importance of having really good quality tools that are exceptionally well maintained and always sharpened. It's just so similar to being a string player. Your instrument is your tool, it's your voice, and it helps you create some really amazing music. So the better your tool, your instrument, and the better it works, the easier it'll be for you to express yourself without having to worry about fighting your instrument. That's why I've always been constantly trying to develop the best instruments, the best value, and set them up to the highest standard, just to help you, the player, on your journey. If you have a mediocre instrument, it'll still allow you to make beautiful music, but why not use the best tool you can just to make it more fun and give your audience a better experience? I hope you've enjoyed my little window into that part of my trip to Japan. There was a lot more. There was a snowball fight and other things. I'm in a winter wonderland. Remember to like this video, subscribe and hit the little bell, which means that you find out each time I post a new video. The likes also help me get my information out to lots of other string players, so they can also be informed players and know their instrument really well. Thanks so much for watching and keep making beautiful music. See you next time. Bye. Arigato gozaimasu.